welcome to another episode of Plaid Stallion's Toy Ventures. I'm your host, Brian. And if you recall, a couple weeks back on my trip to Treehouse Collectibles, I mentioned I bought something there and I would reveal it in a special episode. And here we are, the Matchbox Fighting Furies action figures, which is our subject today. This is a wonderful line of 70s Mego scale figures that deserve some real love and attention. So let's dig in. The Fighting Furies line was created by design firm Marvin Glass & Associates, who also brought you oodles of iconic toys such as Evel Knievel Stunt Cycle, the Mego Superhero Supervator, Light Bright, and Mousetrap. That's just to name a few. They had a huge catalog of items that you may have had as a kid. Lesney Toys, also known as Matchbox, was well known for die-cast cars and wanted to expand into the world of action figures. So they jumped on the Fighting Furies concept and brought the 8-inch figures with sword-fighting action to market in that typical razors and razor blades fashion. Meaning you got the figures and now you need the outfits and the accessories and the playsets. This was the standard created by Hasbro when they created the world's first action doll for boys, G.I. Joe. Now you might be saying to yourself, pirates are somewhat outdated a concept in 1974, but you're only about half right. Matchbox was a UK-based company, and they thought internationally. Pirates were still very popular in Europe thanks to characters like Sandokan. In the United States, the marketing was shifted to your parents or grandparents having grown up loving pirates, which is very similar to the popularity of Gabriel's excellent Lone Ranger line at the time. Your parents know who they are. They might end up under the tree that year. The marketing campaign featured Deviled Ham spokeschild and Mike Douglas show regular Mason Reese.
A kung fu adventure story. Hook travels to the Orient, and there, in addition to his skill with a sword and bow and arrow, he becomes a kung fu champion. The story and all this stuff is in the Kung Fu Adventure set. Hook is sold separately. Confuse you say, lots of fun. The Fighting Furies Kung Fu Warrior Adventure set.
The first wave of Fighting Furies figures consisted of Cap'n Pegleg, who came with a cutlass, a knife he could throw, and a peg leg with a hidden treasure map. The other figure was Captain Hook, who also had a cutlass, could throw his knife, and had a hook for a hand. While neither of these pirates were based on true historical figures, they were based on Treasure Island's Long John Silver and Peter Pan's Captain Hook. In addition to the two characters, the 1974 assortment consisted of 6 adventure outfits: the Captain Blood Adventure, the Spanish Main Adventure, the One-Eyed Sailor Adventure, the Hooded Falcon Adventure, the Redcoat Adventure, and the Kung Fu Adventure. Each set contained clothing, weapons, and a comic book story for you to act out. That's not all the line had. What 1970s figure line would be complete without a vinyl-covered playset? And the Furies got a doozy in the form of the pirate ship/carry case called the Sea Fury. Sales were good enough in '74 to grant an extension to the line in 1975, and the series got another captain added in the form of the Ghost of Captain Kidd, a figure that, when you turned out the lights, showed his spooky skeleton. Kidd was based on real-life Scottish sea captain who was executed for, you guessed it, piracy. Ghost of Captain Kidd was available in mailer boxes in the United States and in a deluxe, beautiful Davy Jones's Locker type coffin box in Europe. Ghost of Captain Kidd may well be one of the greatest 70s action figures, and one I sadly don't own. 1975 would see yet another playset, a deluxe version of the Sea Fury this time. This was exclusive to Sears and was much larger. There were some accessories added, including 2 disguises, the Buccaneer Captain and the Spanish Officer, as well as 2 accessory packs. We got the Stockade and Captain Kidd's treasure. That's probably where the whole ghost thing comes from. 3 more items were planned for the line in the form of the Skull Island Adventure playset, the Shipwreck Adventure set with a raft, and the longboat. None of these made it, although you can see the items in this picture from Toy Fair of 1975. The Fighting Furies line would be phased out in North America in around 1976, but the story doesn't end there, not by a long shot. Remember how I said pirates were popular in Europe? Well, thanks to the popularity of characters such as Carl May and Tex Willer, European children were even bigger fans of Westerns, and the Fighting Furies would get their own exclusive Western line. 3 new characters were created for the Western versions, including Crazy Horse, the only figure in the line based on a real-life historical character, Outlaw Black McCoy, who looks a little bit like Captain Pegleg, and Kid Cortez, who also looks a little bit like Captain Pegleg. Each of these figures had a similar push-button feature, quick draw action for the cowboys, and tomahawk swinging for Crazy Horse. Accessories for the line would include the Cattle Rustlers set and War Dance Adventure. A horse named Sundance was touted in the catalogs, but to our knowledge, it was never made. Speaking of catalogs, even though the Furies Western Adventures were not available in retail in North America, kids could see the figures in some of the Matchbox collector catalogs, which they would just give out at toy stores, and there would just be a big black stamp of not available in the USA on them. So it was sort of tormented a few people I know who always wanted these figures.
Aventura, el Capitán Hook y el Capitán Pegleg, los enfurecidos piratas Matchbox. Tienen un fantástico pulsador que mueve un brazo para pelear con el pirata más valiente. Mira, dentro de la pata de palo del Capitán Pegleg hay un mapa del tesoro. Y hay 6 cajas de juegos de aventuras con espléndidas vestiduras. El Capitán Hook y el Capitán Pegleg son malos y buenos a la vez. Son los enfurecidos piratas Matchbox.
Just a quick shout out for my magazine, Toy Ventures. All 5 issues are currently still available in our shop. If you like 70s toys, 80s toys, obscure action figure lines and knockoffs, please consider checking us out. We're an old school print toy publication just trying to spread some love and information. 1978 was the final year for Matchbox and the Fighting Furies line. It would not return in their 1979 catalog. More than one competing pirate line would appear during its tenure. Mego launched the Super Pirates in 1975. You can see my video about that here. And Mattel's Big Jim would not only create a pirate line, complete with Sandokan, but a Carl May Western line as well. In the United States, after the figures had long gone, a distributor faced a new problem of unsold adventure outfits, but with no pirates to put them on. The solution? Make a new unofficial Fighting Fury. It's not known who manufactured this 8-inch pirate, but the head was a mirror opposite of Mego's Captain Patch from the previously discussed Super Pirates line. Each one of these kind of ersatz Captain Patches was inserted into unsold adventure kits, and the clearance began. Fighting Furies is just one of these unsung toy lines of the 1970s and kind of why I do this. It's a beautiful Mego scale line that has everything going for it. Somebody put a lot of love and effort into it, and these are really well-made toys. Everything from the play sets to the action packs just have a beautiful look and style that you just don't get today on children's toys. I'd love to know your thoughts on this line. Did you have it as a kid? Do you remember it? Let me know in the comments below, or you can hit me up in our Facebook group, Mego Knockoff Headquarters, where we talk about 8-inch figures like this. There is also an amazing Fighting Furies collector group on Facebook who helped me with this video, and I want to give a shout out to those guys and send a link down here. If you're into Fighting Furies and you're not in this group, please consider it. Thank you, as always, for watching. If you're new to this, I hope you'll consider hitting like and subscribe. This is what I do every week. But until next time, be well and talk toys, not others. Cheers.